Welcome back to the show. With the Israel-Hamas war dominating headlines, conversations in social media feeds as well, kids will inevitably been exposed. School boards right across the country are grappling with exactly how to discuss or perhaps not discuss the deadly conflict. And some students are now calling for more open conversations. So we're going to dive into this topic here. Do conversations about the Israel-Hamas war belong in the classroom?
Oh, I mean, I will say that the Toronto District School Board has done, I think, a good job of communicating and acknowledging that they have students from all kinds of backgrounds who are either directly or indirectly impacted by this. And they've sent out a few messages. One included a whole bunch of resources that are direct. And again, you know, you might say I haven't done a deep dive on any of those, so I feel like they would be thoughtful.
Yeah.
Personally, I have not spoken to my son. He's 10 and a half, and he's in grade 5. And as I'm saying this, I'm not sure if that's the right move, because we don't have the news on a lot in our house, but I'm not sure if he's picking up little bits and pieces from school. Probably. He's not on social media, and I think if he was on social media, I would sit down and have a conversation. But also, as I say this, I recognize I have Jewish and Palestinian friends who have not had the luxury of not having conversations.
Right. That's an excellent
point. You know,
point.
who need to arm their kids with sort of safety as we see the rise in anti-Semitic and anti-Islamic Islamophobia. Anyway, I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all answer.
And you're absolutely right, because I have a 9-year-old, and we have been talking about this since day one. And so I think every family is going to be different, and I think every approach to every child is going to be different. But what it sounds like we're both saying is we probably want to be the first ones to be talking to our kids about it. So does it belong in a school? You know, that is a big question, because the first thing my daughter said to me about this, she said this to me last Friday, is this the beginning of World War III?
Yeah.
If she were to put that to her teacher, and her teacher's amazing, I don't know that the teacher knows what to say or what she should or shouldn't say. I'm so glad that my daughter said that to me in my house first. And so we have been talking about this, but we're a newsy house, and we're the opposite. We have a lot of news on. I do have to be very mindful how much and what she's watching. But from the days that Biden and Kamala Harris got into office, we sat down as a family and discussed how momentous it was to have the first female vice president in the United States of America. From that day, we've had the Russian invasion of Ukraine, we've had Donald Trump in and out of the news, and now we have Hamas with this horrific attack on Israelis, and now this defensive move by Israel. And so, you know, and the unfolding humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip. That's heavy stuff for a 9-year-old. I have to figure out an age-appropriate way to not only explain the situation as best as I can, which again, every parent will have their lens through which they're seeing this, and I want to be thoughtful, but my bottom line is I want to make my daughter feel safe. I don't want her to think that, you know, I say things like, we have the amazing fortune to be living in Canada. And there are many children who do not have that luxury and do not have that safety. But I also want her to know we have Jewish friends and Muslim friends, to be able to have empathy in a child. They're little, but they understand fairness very young.
Sometimes
So
more than adults, because I feel like this is something that should be discussed in classrooms, age appropriate, like a high school level of conversation. But with this particular conflict, I'm not too sure I've even seen adults have measured conversations where, like, it feels like people who are holding multiple sort of opinions, they don't feel safe having those conversations together, or there isn't even the option of being, you know, this expression of both sides gets thrown out, but that doesn't feel like an option in many adult conversations. So I would feel for the teacher who would have to take on, this is like a huge task to have to be able to do that, and is a teacher even able to moderate that? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you think about, I don't know about you guys, but I have friends and family members who have become an expert on Middle East affairs going back 75 years to 2,000 years in a matter of a week. So, you know, it's like a teacher, how are they going to do this?
Well, and I think about the level of care and consideration you're giving to your conversation with Marquesa, one child. How on earth is a teacher supposed to have these conversations with 30 children? We know
With
how
30
overworked-
parents or more.
Correct. 30 parents who will surely be in there if they feel like you're delivering messaging to their kids that doesn't align with their beliefs and values. But I mean, I also feel for the students. When I was reading this article, there were kids who were saying, I can't think about anything else. And of course they can't, particularly if you're personally connected to this topic. How on earth do you go through your school day and focus on arithmetic or any of your subjects when this is on your mind? But I don't know the answer because I don't know that this should be a responsibility of a teacher.
I don't know if it's a responsibility of a teacher, but I hope every school, they know their population well, and every school, no two schools will have the exact same demographics. I just know as a former teacher, my number one priority was to educate the kids, but to make every child feel safe, as I am also doing with my own child. And perhaps elementary school and younger grades, it's not the same conversations, but I can't imagine being in a high school today where there is a really diverse school population where kids may be experiencing anti-Semitic treatment in schools from other students or Islamophobic attacks within the walls of the school. Now the school must be proactive. What's the answer? I don't know, but your job is to make that child, every child, feel safe to try and learn, which to your point is not easy for anybody today.
Not easy,
you know, it's not. It's not. Not a lot of answers, but we, of course, we have so many teachers who watch us as well, so we would love to hear your feedback on this.
Hey there, what did you think? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. See you soon.